All right, so welcome to another tutorial on how I use Google Classroom in my classroom. As you can see, we are back at the main Google Classroom page. So if you've logged in and you do have classes already listed, um, your page might look something like this. So you can see I have my science courses, I have my homeroom, my drama club, the class that I'm part of, and then I've created a class here for you. And I'm just going to take you into one of my classes. Now you can see here, it will list the students. I have some of my aides marked as students in my classroom, so that's why some of the numbers are a little bit bigger. But you can also see here that it shows due dates for different assignments that students will be doing in my class. And these due dates will show up as notifications for them on their end. So on their end, they will see, I have this due tomorrow or I have this due Thursday. It gives them those little alerts. Not that they always check those alerts, but they are there. So I'm going to go ahead and click into one of my classrooms, and you can see that this is what it looks like on my end. On the student end, it does look somewhat similar. However, the way that some of the assignments or posts show up is slightly different. Today I posted a KWL chart update that we've been doing for notes. So one of the ways that I use Google Classroom, and really, I mean, everything I use on Google Classroom is in conjunction with other apps on Google Drive, mainly. So whether it is a Google Doc, a Google Form, Google Slides, that's really what I'm posting onto my classroom stream. And this is the classroom stream, this main page. And I mean, it goes all the way, it will keep loading and it will go all the way back to August when the school year started. So there's a lot on here. This is really for me taking the place of my classroom blog, which I used for years and years and years and years until Google Classroom came out last year. I did use Google Drive always as a way for students to share work with me. But with the advent of Google Classroom, everything just became more streamlined and much easier, not only for me, less work for me, but for students as well. So for notes, let's say you are doing note taking um, on the smartboard or in a Google Doc. That's what I do oftentimes in my classes and I'll just show you what my Google Drive looks like. So in Google Drive, for each of my units, I have a unit folder. And in my unit folder, I have things like slides and assignments and notes. So I have notes for each of my classes. So this KWL chart I've been using in each of my classes. And I bring it up every now and again. I'll pull it up. And I update it with the students. So I'll update these, the learn category or the what you want to know category. And at the end of that class or the next day or whenever I get around to it, I will post it then on my stream. So to post it, I will go to create an announcement and I will just, let's say notes. And because it's in my Google Drive, I click on that little triangle icon, find my folder, and then I will find the hour notes that I'm looking for. So then I would click and hit add. And then I can just post. If you want to post notes to more than one classroom, you can obviously click on the classes that you need to post to. Because I have a different set of notes for each class, I have to post them separately. In this case, in some cases, it's the same notes for every class. So then I would just hit post and ta-da, it shows up. Now, if I accidentally double post or I don't like something or I need to change something, if I click on those three little dots in the right-hand corner of the box that you see, you can either edit or delete. Now, I already have a copy of this KWL chart for students to access, so I would just hit delete. What I do find useful, if you decide to post it as an assignment just to get kids to maybe pay attention to it more, but you don't want it as homework, I always just add a little blurb saying not homework. You can see an example of that right here. This is a feedback form, and I'll talk about that in another clip. So just so that way you don't get any calls from people going, when is this due? Why is this due? It's just to kind of circumvent that whole issue. But the stream is a great place to post notes, especially for students who are going to be out sick or on vacation. In the wintertime, we tend to have this plethora of students that are out. So for me, it's a lot easier to write, say, Google Classroom and have them just take the initiative to go check that out on their own. And get all of the materials there. I don't have to send anything or make copies or do any extra work. It's just already there. And it's also useful for, those students that don't pay attention during class. Not that that ever happens, but just in case you do need that. So that is one example of how I use Google Classroom. In my class is just a way to post and share notes. And also you can do that the same thing. So if let's say you have a PowerPoint you want to share, I'm actually going to scroll down here. So I actually have 2 PowerPoints right here. And this one I posted, I think, on a day that I was, out. So if you're going to be gone for, a class or, you're going to be gone for the whole day or something happens, this is also a great way to post directions and then, something for students to do. So they have a packet in my class, there was a science packet with a notes section in it. I was going to be gone for class period. So I just posted, I created an announcement here in this little plus sign right there at the lower right-hand corner of the screen, hit create an announcement. And I wrote down the steps of what they needed to do. And then I attached my PowerPoint or a Google slide or whatever it is that I wanted them to do. So in this case, it was a PowerPoint. Students can open up the PowerPoint even on their Chromebooks, even if they do not have, they don't have access to PowerPoint on the Chromebook. So it will open through Google Slides. So when I click here, this is what they saw. And this is the screen that most students stayed on, but they did have the option to open with Google Slides. So that was something that they could do. And if you want to know how to do that, actually, here, I'll just show you really quick. Once again, you would just go into your Google Drive if it was something that you've created in your Google Drive, and you can attach it there. So a slideshow, I don't know if I have any slideshows in here, actually. I do. So there's some slideshows. So I could just, add that and then post. If it is a PowerPoint or a Microsoft Word doc or something outside of Google, you can still add that. You just, you want to make sure it is something that will be able to open up online, especially those of us that are using Chromebooks. It has to be, so PowerPoint will open in Google Slides, a Word doc will open in Word. Smartboard documents, so if you created something in the Smart Notebook, those will not open up. What I would recommend doing is learning how to do a print screen of whatever you've done in your document, or copy and pasting that information into a Word doc or into a Google Doc, and then posting it. If you need help with that, I'm always around and more than happy to help anybody who needs help. So, if it is something that is outside of Google, you just hit upload, select files from your computer, and then you can look in your folders and upload what you need to upload. So, and it will show up, and you just hit upload, and it's magic. And once again, it will open for students in whatever the Google equivalent is of that Microsoft application, so to speak. But I'm not going to do that right now, so I'm going to close that out. One last thing that you can also do, that I'm actually going to share this real quick too, even though it's not necessarily notes, but sometimes after we have students take notes, or we do some sort of lecture class, we want to know what students learned. Now, obviously, there are a million different, like question response applications out there. You could even, just do it like the old school paper slip way. But obviously, I personally am not a fan of having more papers to collect or carry around or keep track of. So you can actually even post the questions. So I'm getting a countdown. To do that, you are going to go to create a question, and then you can type it in and post it. So you can see I have that here. And